want to talk today about the idea of holding dates and or first right of refusal. You know, you've all got that phone call or done the meeting where the client says, you know, I need to talk it over with my parents or whatever. Can you hold the date for us for a couple of days or for a week or whatever? And it's an awkward situation, especially if you work mostly from direct referrals, because if somebody has seen you, they're going to call and book you immediately without, going through all of those steps. And you don't want to say no to somebody because somebody else might want you. So here's how I handled it. And it's really pretty simple. At the end of a meeting, if they were undecided, then they were undecided. And I'm fine with that. And they should not book me until they're ready. And what I would say to them is this: listen, I want you to be 100% certain that we're a good match and that you want me at your wedding. Until you're ready to do that, you shouldn't book. However, I can't hold the date. In terms of letting you know if somebody else wants it, let me ask you this question. As soon as you decide, for sure, either way actually, would you call and let me know that you've made a decision, that you would like to book me? Will you tell me immediately when you decide? And they always say yes, right? They're never going to say no. It's okay, great. Well, here's why I can't call you and let you know if somebody else is interested in the date, because if you haven't called me yet, it means you're undecided. And that would be really putting undue pressure on you. I'm not going to call you and say, you have to decide right now. So you do the things that you need to do to make your decision, and then let me know right away. And if I'm still available, I would love to work for you. I assume you're going to be doing this pretty quickly. They would always say yes. Sometimes they would say, well, we have a meeting with somebody else next week. Well, then that tells you they don't, you're not even close to getting this event at this point, right? So you want to let that go. You're certainly not going to turn somebody else away for this. But I would say, because you're going to let me know, as soon as you know, it's not reasonable for me to call you and put that sort of pressure on you. So I'm not going to do that to you. But you let me know as soon as you decide. And I would always try to be very realistic. So, if I'm meeting with somebody on a Thursday and I say, listen, I've got a wedding tomorrow and Saturday, I'm not going to be booking anything over the weekend. I'm not even going to be talking to anybody. So if you let me know by the end of the weekend, I'm sure it's going to still be available unless somebody calls me in the next hour, and that seems pretty unlikely. So, go do your thing and let me know right away. And an awful lot of people would leave, go to their car, walk right back in my office and say, we want to go ahead and book it. Or they would call me within the hour. They just needed a little bit of alone time to make sure they were on the same page. And so I don't want to put pressure on anybody, but I'm also not going to do that thing where I call somebody and say, well, listen, I know you've had 2 days, but somebody else wants it. So what do you want to do? And I bring this up because I just saw on one of the Facebook groups that somebody had this issue where somebody else was interested in the date. They called the mother of the bride, I think, if I recall correctly, and that mother got really upset that like it's just a cheap sales tactic. But that could have been avoided really easily if he had just set that up in advance to say, well, here's why I can't call you. And that's a hard lesson learned for that DJ. And now he has somebody who they're not going to book him and they're mad at him, right? Instead of they're not going to book him and they're mad at themselves, or they're not mad at anybody. So I hope that helps you. That's how I always got out of the hold the date. People would say, can you pencil me in? It's like, well, I don't own a pencil. I only use pens, but here's where we're at. And just be upfront, honest. Don't put any extra pressure on people, and your calendar will get filled and everybody goes home happy. Hope that helps you. See you next week.